So I wanted to tell you a little bit about my Reiki classes and why you might want to study with me for your Reiki education. Um, there are, of course, many teachers that teach Reiki. There are many different approaches to teaching Reiki. There are many different styles of Reiki, and so for someone who's just starting, it might be a little confusing, like who do you go with, what you're going to learn, what does the training entail. And one of the important things is that you need to connect to the teacher, so that you need to like something about them. But having said that, it's there are plenty of people who are charismatic, but you don't necessarily want to study with them. So you also want to look at the teacher's background, how they learned, where they learned, and what they teach. So my Reiki training, you might know, Reiki training is divided in separate levels. And so the first two levels that I did, Reiki 1 and 2, I took with different teachers, and the training was just over a weekend. So I had Reiki 1 over a weekend, and then a year later I had Reiki 2 again over a weekend. And I do not teach that way myself. I found that I had more questions than when I started, and there wasn't really a good way, clear lines of communication. Should I ask my teacher, if I have any questions? Am I supposed to be kind of keeping in touch with them or not? So I didn't really like that, and that is why I teach my Reiki 1 class over 4 weeks, so that you learn something, then you have time to think about it, practice maybe a little bit, and you'll have questions the next class, and so we have whole months to address that. For Reiki 2 you have 6 weeks, there's a little bit more material to learn, so again you have this longer period of time to try to to absorb the material a little bit better, so that then you have questions. That's how you learn, right? By asking questions. So I really like that approach. And then my Reiki master training, I found yet another teacher that I really liked, and I liked that she was teaching over 6 months period. So I said, okay, I'm gonna have plenty of time to ask questions and learn and have it more all going well together. So that's how I also teach Reiki master classes, that I teach it over 6 months period. Being a Reiki master and a Reiki practitioner, it's not just about, oh, this is energy, how we can use it. It's more about, to me, how can it change your life. So it is a little bit more about lifestyle and not just energy, so that we don't put on, a Reiki master hat, when we are with clients, and then the rest of the time we are, miserable or whatnot. It's more about how you can bring Reiki into everything that you do, how you can live Reiki in your life, that healing approach. So that's what I try to teach. I try to teach my students to be critical thinkers, so that you don't just take on what I say at face value, right? You have to think about it, you have to ask questions, and it has to make sense to you. I'm not big on telling you, okay, do A, B, and C, and that's it, no explanation. I try to explain, okay, we do A because of this, and we do B because of that, and then we do C because of some other thing. And then, of course, as you start working with energy and you learn more and you trust yourself more, you'll have your own ideas that come up, and you have your own understanding. What I like to do is that provide you with some beginning, somewhere where you start, and then you can continue as you practice. And I think that what makes it a little bit different for me. Empowerment is a big thing that I hope my students take from the class. Empowerment to live the lives that they want, that they create, and not be victims of their circumstances. So I hope you'll consider training with me, and I have classes scheduled throughout the year, and they're always small. I find that I'm more comfortable to learn, when I'm learning, I like smaller groups. I feel more comfortable to ask questions that way. And so I keep my classes small as well. There are no more than 5 people. And the Reiki Master is limited to 3 people because it's a little longer, it's a little bit more involved, and I really want to make sure that I'm there for each and every one of my students. So if there's times that, if you really want to study with me, but there's times that doesn't work for you, just let me know. Let's see what we'll come up with. And I hope you'll consider studying with me.